Hi, welcome to Home Video Hangouts. I'm Cody, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing with you why it's still important to buy and collect DVDs in 2024 and how you can get started collecting them today. So let's dive right in. So DVDs are currently one of the cheapest and most accessible forms of physical media you can buy. And there's also something to be said about just, first of all, collecting physical media in the first place. You know, collecting something like DVDs or other forms of physical media can make a lot more sense long term than just subscribing to a subscription service or renting movies on a digital platform, because you don't really own those. Those are just temporary rentals, essentially, that can be taken away at any time, and you never know if you're going to be able to find the movie you want to watch at the time you want to watch it. And I've done some other videos that cover that, but I just wanted to start with this video just kind of expressing why I believe that physical media is important, and then now we're going to dive more into why I think DVDs are especially important. So with pricing, as I mentioned, they are pretty cheap, and I've been able to get DVDs for as cheap as 7 cents in the past, and I typically never pay more than like $1 for a DVD that I pick up used. And many movies are still released brand new on DVD as well, and an added benefit is they typically include digital copies of movies with DVDs when you buy them new as well. So it's great to have a digital copy, or that could also be something you could resell if you want to recoup some of the money you spent on the DVD in the first place. Another thing that makes DVDs affordable to buy, collect, and watch is typically people already have at least one DVD player available in their house. Many video game consoles and computers have DVD players built right in, so you likely wouldn't have to buy another piece of equipment to appreciate DVDs that you buy. You could just usually buy the disc itself, put it right in, and then be ready to watch your favorite movie. And now, some critics will say that DVDs don't have the best picture quality, because they're 480p, which is, half of the quality you expect from something like a Blu-ray with 1080p HD. But with that being said, not everyone is going to care about having the highest quality video when they're watching their favorite movie. Some people just care about the movie itself, and DVDs are already a lot better than what quality we were seeing with VHS tapes. And so if you're someone who just cares about seeing your favorite actors and your favorite movies, DVDs could be a good way to go, because each step up in picture quality is an incremental step up, but it also requires more equipment and more money to be spent on setting up your home theater to really appreciate that. And so while it may not be the right format for everyone, for someone who's just getting started collecting physical media and someone who's wanting to get away from just watching streaming services, it's not a bad way to go, at least for your favorite movies. Because that way you own them. You could watch them as much as you want at any time. And if you're watching on, say, a smaller screen anyway, like some people just watch on a small computer monitor or a small TV, like say under 30 inches or 40 inches, you're not going to notice a huge difference by going to a higher HD format. There is a difference, and some people will appreciate that and that'll be important to them, but if the most important thing to you is just seeing your favorite movies, DVDs are not a bad place to start. Another good way to look at DVDs and buying and collecting them is it may be a way to get started collecting physical media, and it may be a way to kind of try out movies. Some people go to the library and rent movies on DVD to kind of watch them before deciding if they want to purchase them. But with how cheap DVDs are now, a lot of times I will just buy DVDs for anywhere between 7 cents to $1 just to see if I like the movie, and then if I do, I'll decide maybe I'll buy it on a higher format, or if I think it's just alright, maybe I'll keep the DVD, or if I don't like it at all, I didn't spend much on the DVD in the first place, so I might resell it or donate it and not have much of a loss. But DVDs can be a great way to kind of try out a movie to see if it's really worth purchasing in a higher format. Another last thing I wanted to mention that's kind of an advantage with DVDs is, while they're not the most durable in terms of resisting scratches, if a DVD does get scratched, many times it will still play well. This is very different than higher formats like Blu-ray that are very sensitive to scratches. While DVDs are more likely to get scratched, they're more likely to play okay with scratches as well, and DVDs can also be resurfaced with something like a disc doctor, which you can purchase online. Because you can kind of take off a layer of the disc and it will still play, and you won't have the scratches anymore. So there's lots of ways you can kind of repair scratched DVDs to where they'll play okay, and you can't do that as much with Blu-rays. So another thing to consider is that kind of plays into DVD's longevity and durability, and that's different than higher formats. Now, in terms of how you can get started collecting DVDs, I have just a few quick tips for you. So to get started, you first want to decide how much space you have to store DVDs, because the cases take up space, and you could decide just to collect the discs only and get rid of the cases, but a lot of times collectors want to have the cases as well, and that will help you protect the disc better too. So you can usually get some kind of cheap shelves or something like that to store your DVDs, but make sure you have a place in mind ahead of time for your DVDs before you start purchasing them. Then it's important to decide on a budget for purchasing your DVDs. They're not that expensive to begin with, but you always want to stick to a budget with your collecting, because it's typically not worth going into debt just for a hobby like collecting movies. So keep that in mind and make sure you stick to your budget as you start collecting them. Also, come up with some local places you can go to buy used DVDs. I think buying used is the best way to go, especially with DVDs, and there's typically an abundance of places like thrift stores, record stores, used movie stores that you can go to and pick them up at a low price, which is what I do. Even libraries a lot of times will sell their used DVDs at very low prices, and I highly recommend doing that to start building your collection on a budget. Then I would also make a decision on whether you want to only buy DVDs for movies that you already know you love and you would want to watch over and over again, or whether you want to go ahead and blind buy movies just to try them out. You know, with DVDs, there's not a lot of expense in buying them in the first place used, so that might be something you're okay with, but I would decide that ahead of time before you start going out shopping for them. Then, of course, the last step is to start shopping for DVDs on a regular basis and pick up good deals when you see them, and start adding to your collection and watching your movies on a regular basis, and just start curating a collection that you love that you can share with friends and family when they come over. And it's really special once you start building a physical media collection that's curated to your own likes and interests, and being able to share that with others. So in conclusion, I just want to say that you have to make the decision yourself of whether you want to collect physical media and whether DVDs are the right format for you to collect. But I wouldn't overlook DVDs just because of their lower picture quality or their lower audio quality. There's still some great DVDs out there that you can get, and with things like modern Blu-ray players that will upscale DVD's quality for you, even TVs that will upscale the quality, it's not bad to buy a lower format to try out these movies sometimes. And even in 2024, these can make sense for a lot of new collectors. So I highly recommend considering DVDs to start your collection, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts on collecting DVDs, or if you have a collection going of them and how you decide what to buy. And hit the like button if you haven't already, and hit the subscribe button to see more videos about collecting physical media. I'll see you in the next one.